Shalom, Mishpaka. This is our End Time series, and I'm going to continue on with Revelation 19. And after this, I heard a loud voice of a great throng in the heaven, or the Shamayim, saying, Hallelujah! Deliverance and esteem and respect and power to Yahuwah, our Yahuwah, because true and righteous are his judgments, because he has judged the great whore who corrupted the Eretz with her whoring, and he has avenged on her the blood of her servants shed by her. And a second time they said, Hallelujah, and her smoke rises up forever and ever. And the 24 elders and the 4 living creatures fell down and worshipped Yahuwah who sat on the throne, saying, Amen, Hallelujah. And a voice came from the throne saying, Praise our Yahuwah, all you his servants, and those who fear him, both small and great. And I heard as the voice of a great throng, and as the sound of many mayim, or waters, and as the sound of mighty thunders, saying, Hallelujah, for Yahuwah El Shaddai reigns. Let us be glad and rejoice and give him praise, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his Asha, or wife, prepared herself. And to her it was given to be dressed in fine linen, clean and bright, for the fine linen of the righteousness of the Kodashim. And he said to me, Right, blessed are those who have been called to the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he said to me, These are the true words of Yahuwah. And I fell at his feet to worship him. But he said to me, See, do not do it. I am your fellow servant, and of your brothers who possess the witness of Yahusha. Worship Yahuwah, for the witness of Yahusha is the Ruach of prophecy. And I saw the heaven opened, and there was a white horse, and he who sat on him was called Trustworthy and True. And in uprightness he judges and fights. And his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, having a name that had been written, which no one had perceived except himself. And having been dressed in a robe dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Yahuwah. And the armies in the heaven, dressed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him on white horses. And out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall shepherd them with a rod of iron, and he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of El Shaddai. And on his robe and on his thigh he has a name written, Sovereign of Sovereigns and Master of Masters. And I saw one messenger standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the birds that fly in mid-heaven, Come and gather together for the supper of the great Yahuwah. See Ezekiel 39. To eat the flesh of sovereigns, and the flesh of commanders, and the flesh of strong ones, and the flesh of horses, and of those who sit on them, and the flesh of all people, free and slave, both small and great. Look up Excarnation. And I saw the behemoth, and the sovereigns of the Eretz, or the earth, and their armies gathered together to fight him who sat on the horse and his army. And the behemoth was seized, and with him the false prophet who worked signs in his presence, by which he led astray those who received the mark of the behemoth, and those who worshipped his image. The two were thrown alive into the lake of fire, burning with sulfur. These two are the very first to enter the lake of fire, Yam Aish. And the rest were killed with a sword which came from the mouth of him who sat on the horse, and all the birds were filled with their flesh. And Revelation 20. And I saw a messenger coming down from the heaven, having the key to the pit of the deep, and a great chain in his hand. And he seized the dragon, the serpent of old, who is the devil and Shaitan, or Satan, and bound him for 1,000 years. And he threw him into the pit and of the deep, and shut him up, and set a seal on him, so that he should lead the nations no more astray until the 1,000 years were ended. And after that he has to be released for a little while. And I saw thrones, and they sat on them, and judgment was given to them, and the lives of those who had been beheaded because of the witness they bore to Yahusha. and because of the word of Yahuwah, and who did not worship the behemoth, nor his image, and did not receive his mark upon their foreheads or upon their hands, and they lived and reigned with Mashiach for 1,000 years. And the rest of the dead did not come to life until the 1,000 years were ended. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and set apart is the one having part in the first resurrection. The second death possesses no authority over these, but they shall be priests of Yahuwah and of Mashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And when the 1,000 years have ended, Shaitan, or Satan, shall be released from his prison, and he shall go out to lead the nations astray, which are in the four corners of the Eretz, or the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together for battle, whose number is as the sand of the sea. And they came up over the breadth of the Eretz, or the earth, and surrounded the camp of the Kodashim and the beloved city. And fire came down from Yahuwah out of the heaven and consumed them. And the devil who led them astray was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the behemoth and the false prophet are, and they shall be tortured, Yom and Layla, day and night, forever and ever. And I saw a great white throne, and him who was sitting on it, from whose face the Eretz, or the earth, and the heaven fled away, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before the throne, and the scrolls were opened, and another scroll was opened, which is of life. And the dead were judged from what was written in the scrolls, according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead who were in it, and death and the grave gave up the dead who were in them, and they were judged, each one according to his works. And the death and the grave were thrown into the lake of fire. And this is the second death. And if anyone was not found written in the scroll of life, he was thrown into the lake of fire. I bless you all, Mishpaka, and I hope you all have a blessed evening. And I love you all.